Hello, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, coming at you live from the V1HQ yet again. Good to see everybody here in the house. We are getting ready to fire up another A320 Neo today, doing some de-ice winter operations. We got the miniFCU up and running, ready to go as well, so that's going to be fun. I put the vote up for the members to see which we were going to fly today. We were either going to do the fly-by-wire with the fully functioning miniFCU or the semi-functioning miniFCU with the Fenix, and the votes told us we're going fly-by-wire, which was interesting because initially Fenix was leading the poll, but fly-by-wire ended up winning the poll, so here we are. Should be a good one. Alexa Rasta, sounded good to see you. Thank you for the continued support. David Isaacs in the house. AJ Fernars here. Good to see you. McCollins here. Wingnut 172. This will be way better than Winter Ops Refresher than reading the pumps. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely Wingnut. Good to see you here. Russ D. Harris is in the house. Callie Simmer, good morning to you in chat. Have my hot latte in hand ready for an ice cold flight. Callie Simmer, I've got a peppermint mocha sitting next to me right now, so cheers to that as well. Digital Mercs in the house. Good to see you. 49 Whiskey, a Lolar Pilot. Caleb Greenlee is also here. Caleb, I did see your message. Yes, the miniFCU does work 100% with the tolless aircraft in X-Plane, which we might have to do a little X-Plane jaunt here coming up in the next couple of weeks. We shall see. Fireflyer 1002, good to see you. Hit 1 year. Got the 1 year badge as well. Fireflyer looking good. Thank you for the continued support, my friend. Appreciate all of the support for the past 12 months. Gustavo, but with Microsoft Simulator icing on or off? I believe it is on, Gustavo. I believe our icing simulation is on. I haven't had any issues with it yet, so hopefully that will remain true for this stream, and everything will be good to go, right? So Jeff L, thank you for 17 months of support, my friend. He says, in-op, ice, cold, snow, or you don't like snow or something like that. Jeff, well, you're not going to like this stream then, because it is snowing here in Buffalo, New York. We're sitting over at an United gate. I don't know where JetBlue gates are, but it's further down. Oh well, we're over at United. We're taking a gate from them here for this stream. It should be fun. Jeremy Harvey, good to see you. Still have leftover pies if you can make it. Jeremy, I got to head out west. I'll be heading out your way here pretty soon. We'll see. I hope you're doing well, Jeremy. Good to see you. Mo Aviator, good afternoon, my friend. Good afternoon. All right, let's get into this, what we're going to do. So I believe in Buffalo here, we're going to do a de-icing procedure at the gate. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to get into. We've done this stream pretty much every winter. I think it rolls around. We do some type of de-ice, anti-ice. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do what's called a de-icing at the gate or spray at the gate. I don't actually remember the last time I've been de-iced in Buffalo. I think they might actually do it at the gate or at the hold pad, depending on how heavy the snow intensities are. But basically, we're going to board up the aircraft, get everything ready to go before we call for a de-ice truck to come out to the aircraft. The reason for that being is once you get sprayed with the de-icing fluid, whether it's a type 1, type 4, we'll briefly touch on fluids here in a little bit, you have a certain amount of time that de-icing procedure is valid for, and that time period is dependent upon the intensities and the type of precipitation falling on your aircraft. So right now it looks like we do have some light blowing snow, so we will probably have to get a multiple coat of de-ice. Now, unfortunately, I don't think GSX actually allows for type 1 than type 4. You just kind of have to pick one. But basically, if this were real life, you'd have to do a initial coat of type 1, which is the orange fluid, which is going to remove all of the ice and stuff that's sticking to the airplane. And then they would put type 4 on the wings and tails, which is a more expensive, more advanced solution that will come off of the wings and tail surfaces as you pretty much rotate the aircraft, taking all that ice with it or snow melt with it, therefore leaving you with a clean wing. So we're gonna dig into that, but before we do that, I think we need to get this airplane fired up and warm it up because it is chilly, and I got to tell you, it was chilly in my house this morning too here in Georgia. It's all frosted up, so this is a perfect day to do a de-icing, anti-icing stream. And to top it off, this is my favorite time of year to fly. I mean, even though the snow can be annoying and icing and the weather delays and all that, right around the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas time, Absolute favorite. The smell of hot coffee is brewing. So first things first, though, the one thing I don't like about flying in the winter is a cold cockpit. So let's go ahead and get this sucker warmed up, shall we? 25.6 volts on both sides or greater. There it is. I'm going to boost up the sounds here. Looks like the airplane's coming to life. We'll go right into external ground power. Boom. We'll get that fired up. We'll let the airplane come to life. We'll probably get the APU up and running right away. Velociraptor, 12 months of support. Thank you. Finally hit the 1 year mark. Velociraptor, congratulations. Happy anniversary as a member here on the channel. Appreciate you. Al W, 25 months from the great state of Texas. Al W, recliner, definitely not in op here. Hey, Al W, good to see you, my man. Hope you are well. Hope things are good out there in the great state of Texas. I do miss Texas, my friend. I do miss Texas. Hope you're well. Thank you for tuning in. And yes, recliners, not in op. That is a key. Wrong Side Sim is in the house himself. Wrong Side, good to see you, dude. I think if you de-ice on the pad, it gives you the option to use type 1 through 4. Yes, it will give you the option to use 1 through 4, but you can't, like, double stack. So in active icing, like you can actually see there's some ice on the window right now, you would have to do a type 1 first, and typically, depending on how bad it is, you do type 1, pretty much whole airplane. So if you got ice on top of the fuselage, or if it's snowing, you got snow building on top of the fuselage, use type 1 whole aircraft, and then you would do wings and tail type 4 only for the lifting purposes, as we talked about briefly. So that would, just looking out the window, seeing that we are frosting up here. Now, chat, this is a very interesting and actually a check ride question. If I'm at the aircraft right here, I come down and Mr. Wingnut hasn't preheated the airplane for me, and I see that there's ice on the window. How can I get the ice off of the window? Because we don't want to have that. The window elements are heated, but they're only heated when? How can we remove this ice? This is actually a check right question. I'd actually be curious to see if this works here with the fly-by-wire. Is this the INI Builds 320 Neo? Colorado, no. This is the fly-by-wire 320 Neo. That's because I don't have the beta. I'm not interested in doing the beta right now. But when it does drop to full release version, I will give it a shot for sure. Window heat's on, exactly. So the window heater will not turn on until we get an engine started. We're obviously not going to start an engine at the gate. So let's go ahead and do probe and window heat. Let's turn that sucker on, and let's see. I'm curious myself. Let's see if it actually defrosts the window here as well. We also have to turn on all of our screens because fly-by-wire still refuses to do default full bright, even though it is a Neo and there's not a. Whoa. Okay, I thought the sim crashed. What happened there? All right, we're back. Fly-by-wire still refuses to have the default lighting position to bright, even though there's not a single Neo in operation that has ever been created with an EIS-1 or a CRT screen. Yet we are starting with bright. I mean, if you're going to make me scroll them up, you might as well have them default to off. But to have them default to low intensity is so terrible. Cannot believe it. Dougal McTavish, good to see you. Wingnet says, whoops, we're not even qualified on the plane. Yeah, well, I mean, your Adopt-A-Bus is close enough, right? I guess, I don't know. I'm sure you guys have some type of window heating solutions. Who's texting me? Interesting. Don't want to respond to that. All right, sorry. Well, good evening, Stefan. Good to see you, man. That looks good. We're getting our lights on. Everything else looks good. All right, let's go up with the overhead. We'll go cruise supply on, ground control, CVR test. We'll get our ADRs into the line, position 1, 2, and 3. Everything looks good. Let's go ahead and turn the overhead lights, make it nice and cozy in here. We'll go strobes off, nav, position 1, off, arm, U. We'll leave the overhead as is. We'll do a fire test real quick. FO already did the APU, so that's good. We'll come up here, and this would be out and on, but it is not. All right, looks like our aircraft is coming to life. Now, let me go ahead and brighten up. Now, did that just change the brightness on my miniFCU? No, I don't think it did. I thought it... Oh, wait a second. Is it? Am I going crazy? Turn this way off. I'm going to brighten the way up. Yeah, I think it's just my eyes. I can't tell. I thought you were supposed to be able to dim the miniFCU with the dimmable knobs. Chaos says, ASU, or does that clash with your ICE procedures? It does not clash. We could try it. You guys want to do... You really want to load it on me today, huh? So we'd have to do an air start unit. Screw it. I'll tell you what. If y'all can hit 100 likes before the APU is spooled. Well, we wouldn't be able to spool the APU. If y'all hit 100 likes here within the next, I'll give you about 5 minutes until 4 minutes. 1715Z, if you hit 100 likes, we will do an air start unit test as well with the fly-by-wire. That's going to give us some problematics because we're going to have to do an air start, then we have to configure for de-ice, and you can't have the carts or anything connected while you get sprayed, obviously. So then we will have to get sprayed, then do a cross-bleed start after the allotment of time for burn-off. So it could get a little complex, but we'll give it a shot and see if you can smash down that like button. All right, enough chit-chat, though. We got to do something here. We actually got to get the box loaded up. But somebody got a CFI job. Who was that? Daniel. For 4 months, he says, V1 happy holidays. Just got a CFI job offer. Daniel, that is absolutely fantastic, man. Congratulations. Enjoy it. Remember, you are teaching... I don't think I have to do this anymore. You are teaching the future aviators of America, I assume, if you're in America. And so don't take it lightly. It is a very it's a very large responsibility, which in light of a lot of recent events that have been happening, and I've kind of been seeing some of these YouTube videos of like flight instructors that are critiquing, or maybe former flight instructors critiquing the new flight instructors. And
I found a group of flights and buddies here in Austin, and it all started here when we met in the V1 live stream chat. Thanks for all you do for the community.
Jeff L. with a massive $50 bank angle check. Jeff L., I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much for that massive $50 bank angle check. I am glad that you were able to find some buddies in Austin, and it all started when you met in the V1 live stream chat. Jeff, that's the kind of stuff that I absolutely love, and is part of the reason why I even do what I do. Seeing stories like that, y'all making friendships, building relationships, motivating people to become pilots or getting through their training, whatever it may be, that is at the core of why I do what I do here on this channel. So Jeff L., thank you for that message and that massive $50 bank angle check. Appreciate you, my friend. What I was going to say, when I'm finishing my thought there about CFI, you are teaching the future aviators of America, and I feel like a lot of instructors as of late have kind of checked out because all they're focused on is getting where they want to go, building the time and moving forward. And I know it's a fine line because that is the ultimate goal, right? You want to build time, you want to move on, get a better paying job, maybe be in the airlines, whatever it may be. But you have to be able to prioritize what you are doing long term and what you are doing short term. In the short term, your goal is to teach the best pilots out there, make them safe, and create good, well-rounded pilots. So it's not something to be taken lightly, but congratulations. I'm sure you're going to absolutely love it. All right. My wife is... We're having coffee issues here. Give me a second, folks. Give me a second. We're having the mobile order for the coffee shop is having issues, and my long story. Anyway, we'll get to that. Okay, here we go. Back to where we were at. Let's get everything. That's fired up. That's firing up here. We've got this. Let's brighten up this McDo, and let's get the weather before we get too out of whack here. Let's pull it all right now. We've got an alternative Kennedy. Did we hit 100 likes? Let's see. We did. Oh my gosh, 144 likes. Thank you for the support, y'all. Appreciate that. I guess we will use the air start unit. Now, to use the air start unit, then, I'm assuming I'm going to have to pull that from the wow, 210 at 18 gusts 2.5, light snow, broken, overcast, -3. Ugh. 10 miles of viz, though. That's good. Boston is looking fine. Just a little windy. Cool. I guess we have to do it from the EFB, right? Chaos. So, help me figure this out. Do I just assume... Oh, air start unit right here. Whoa. Oh, it's connected. Oh, I can hear it. There's no model yet, though. Okay, we don't want to use that. We'll disconnect you. Okay, so that's all I got to do, Chaos. Okay. Just spin it up, and then we'll do it. Okay, so check. I know where we're going. little scatterbrain here. A lot of things coming together. I'm trying to do it one time. No sounds or visuals yet, though. Okay, Chaos, so we'll just have the pressure. Good deal. Christian Ionsky's in the house. Good to see you, man. Yes, the windshield is clear, chat. Look at that. So it did do what it was supposed to do. Absolutely awesome. All right, so let's get the rest of our flight plan loaded up. We're going off Buffalo. We're going to be departing today on 2-3 because the winds are 210 at 18. So we'll blast off 2-3 departure. No SID, I guess we can call it the Buffalo 8. That's fine. We'll insert that vector departure to Josie. Pick up Q935 into Bostonia. Into Bostonia, we're going to load up the 250 at 16. Probably going to do, what is it, 2-2 left? What do we got? Let's plan for the ILS. 2-2 left in Boston. And we're going to be on the... I never filed my flight plan. Are you kidding me? Way to go. Rookie move there, chat. Give me a second. Let me file my flight plan. And we shall file you on Vatical Sim. Route is usually Buffalo 8G, Ponk, JFun 2. Also file a flight plan. Thank you, Lord. I'm on now. I just saw that. I got distracted. I went and got coffee and lunch right before the stream started, and that threw me off here. I got the airway in there. Lauren's probably going to full route clearance me. We shall see, though. What arrival? We're on the JFun 2 arrival. So let's go JFun 2. No approach via. We'll go page over, and on the Ponk transition, we'll insert that. That is done. Flight plan's in the box. Nothing to secondary. Nothing to RadNav right now. Progress, we'll put K buff here, just as an airport reference point. Perf data, we're going to leave that. We'll go to the init B page. And let's do all the things now. So first things first, I should have called for the fuel truck. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Daggone it. Let's get the fuel truck over here.
Refueling truck is on its way.
Fill fuel block from SimBrief is 11.4.
Please don't load aircraft until the fuel truck arrives and ask to do it.
Nope. All right. We'll get these on. We'll get everything else set up. Constraint mode. So since we don't have a ground power unit, can we, is there any ground air that we can connect? So we're not going to be able to get any ground air. We're just going to have a cold cabin today. Boston's landing boats 27 and 22. Excellent. Finally catching up. I know GSX used to ask if you want to start engines at the gate, but I've never been prompted for it whenever I've tried the air start. Interesting. It's pronounced Ponset, because that's what my LOA with Boston allows. You got it, Morn. Appreciate you.
Fuel truck is in position.
All right, no PCA air for the aircraft. While we sit here and watch the frozen fuel truck
ask to do it.
load our aircraft, let's go ahead and start briefing a couple of different things here. So for the air start, it's kind of a, we're going to focus with air start first. We're going to have to configure the aircraft for that. So let me pull it up. I even have it saved. So I'm using a whole new, our company just switched to an entirely new manual EFB software program, and I'm still getting the hang of it, so this is actually good. But I've had, within the last, I don't know, week or two, I think I've had 3 or 4 airplanes with no APU. I've just been cursed with it. So I am very familiar with the ground air start selection here. So I've got it favorited. What we can do, since we don't even have an APU or anything like that, let's go ahead and preemptively prepare for a ground air start. So the checklist calls for, before connecting the air start unit, we're going to configure pack 1, pack 2 off. We're going to make sure the APU bleed is off, which the APU bleed is off at this time. Engine bleed 1 and 2 also off. Cross bleed selector valve is going to the open position. Now this is going to allow bleed pressure to go to the number 2 engine, because that's where we're going to start first, most likely. If you look here, you can see we have ground high power or high pressure air. This is what we're going to use to start the engines. If this cross bleed were shut, we'd only be able to start number 1. But in a typical scenario, here in the US anyway,
fuel system to set the desired fuel quantity.
We put the hose out in front of the number 1 engine. So everything ready to go. We're going to defuel, it looks like. Looks like we're defueling to the proper amount of fuel. So they're doing its thing. So for that reason, we're starting number 2 first. We got the cross bleed open. Only when cleared to start we will start engine 2 first. In this case, check the for any operational reason.
Use your airplane fuel system to set the desired fuel quantity.
Are we not defueling? We are defueling. Beautiful. The fuel's coming down, so we should have refueled, but we're actually defueling. It's fine. Here's a note, though. For any operational reason, engine 1 can be started first with an air start unit. In this case, check the brake accumulator pressure prior to engine start. Minimum recommended starter air supply pressure is 25 psi when the starter valve is open.
Please use your airplane fuel system to set the desired fuel quantity.
Jeez, okay, we have the desired fuel quantity. Let's see. vPilot says we have something from ACARS. We got PDC, JetBlue 357, clear to Boston, Josie Q935, Ponked, JFund, Altitude 390, Squawk 7432. Looks like he's disconnecting. Let's throw this in here. 7432 on the squawk code. Cleared via the Buff 8 departure, maintain 10,000. Oh, check this out, chat. Our first usage of miniFCU today. Gotta love it. 10,000 is set. Departure is 1987. So let's put that right here, 1987. Man, we need a mini radio panel now. 1987. That is good to go. And refueling is done. So, with refueling done, let's go to payload and GSX. Request boarding.
Boarding requested.
Boarding is going to get started. We are configured for ground air, and then after ground air, we're going to start up. We're going to start number 2 first. Then we're going to disconnect everything. Then we're going to de-ice because we're not going to do a cross speed at the gate. I'm trying to think how we're going to do this. If we can't cross speed at the gates, then we're just going to do de-ice at the gate, and then we'll cross speed on the way out and get started. That's the plan. That is the plan. I see a 727 in the background. Where do you see a 727? Is there a 72 somewhere? Cargo doors opening up. Love that sound. Do you board early knowing you have to de-ice, Anthony Teal? No. Oh, there's that 7. I see a 7.2 back here. Not really. Anthony Teal, it could possibly, but that's not like that's something standard that you would do. We're boarding almost a full boat of 160 packs. Look at that 7.2 back there. Man, look at our rudders deflected out. This is a nice livery from the TO. Got some dirt on it. You can just hear the wind outside. It is a cold winter day. Christy says, I noticed many times when flying in the U.S. I receive my flight plan 5 seconds after I log in. What yoke should I get? Thrustmaster yoke or honeycomb? And what throttle should I get? The honeycomb throttle or SATEC? Let me tell you what. KW Airlines, so the honeycomb yoke or what should I get? Thrustmaster. I think the Thrustmaster yoke is superior to the honeycomb yoke, but I think the honeycomb throttle is superior than the Thrustmaster throttle. So if you're going to fly mostly Boeings or anything in between, I would go Thrustmaster TCA yoke with the Honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrant, because you can modify that to literally any airplane you want, from single engine pistons and props, or that's the same thing, pistons and turboprops, to the 747 and have all the levers available to you. You can do it with the Honeycomb. So I think the Honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrant is the best, and I think the TCA yoke is the best for yoke drift aircraft. I always said that I would never have made 20 years on the ramp if it was in Tampa. Crimson Ghost, yeah, these rampers out here, totally different ball game. Hey, Captain, I just got out of my CRM class. Kerm, awesome. Learn anything good from CRM? Look at the nav light reflecting on the fuel truck right there. You see that hint of green? How cool is that? How cool is that? Practicality says the GSX audio messages can be disabled in the settings. Yeah, I saw that in there. Sometimes I just left it though because if I get distracted, I want to know what GSX is waiting for. But I don't know. They do get annoying sometimes. I probably should just turn them off. All right. Let's look at some charts then. While we wait, let's make sure we're all ready to go. That way, when we're done boarding, we're just good to go. All right. 2-3 for departure. Quick taxi. Now, I wanted to say I thought one time many years ago I de-iced over here somewhere, but that might not have been correct. I think you just de-iced at the gate. So we'll taxi out Alpha cross 3-2 for a departure. As far as the SID is concerned, Buffalo 8, it's just a radar vector departure up to 10,000 feet off runway 32, climb on heading until leaving 5,000, or until leaving 3,000. Cool. Probably get a tower assigned heading. After that, going all the way to Buffalo, to Boston, let's go to our 2. Let's star these up here. Our taxi, we need 10-9. And our approach, we're going to do 2-2 left. I just landed there not too long ago, actually. 2-2 left. And the star is the J-Fund 2 RNAV arrival. So we got all of our charts ready to go. So we'll start engine 2, we'll de-ice, push back, cross bleed, and then blast off. Wow, we have a full plate ahead of us. You can also finish the init B since we now pre-fill the planned 0 fuel weight CG. Really? Well, what's our fuel? 11.4, so let's put 11.4. And do I just click on it? Chaos? Or do I have to actually, put it in there? Let's go to our payload. Well, this is actively changing, right? Or do we put 130.3 and 32.7? Oh, no. I think this is the target, right? So 130.3 and 32.7? Oh, just click it. Alright, I'll just click it. That looks a lot different than what I saw. We'll see if it changes. We'll see. If our whole flight is messed up from chaos. We'll see. Our charts say on the west pad next to gate 1 for de-icing. Let me look at my charts, Matthew Presley. What am I have my charts here? Let's see. Let's go to K-Buff. Buffalo. Taxi. It says we can do it at the gate or contact station ops. Alright, well. I don't know. Let's see. I'm just going to do it at the gate. We'll make it easier. Yeah, Chaos. We'll see what that updates to. Because it should be, right, 130.3 and 32.7? Let's try that. 130.3 and 32.7. That's what we should be looking at when we're all done. I mixed butter with ice landing runway 23 at Buffalo, 49 Whiskey. Excellent, man. Excellent. Butter and ice. We have a metric ton of company charts. Yeah. Got a lot of boarding music today. Turn it down a little bit. Quick refresher. Since we're getting ready to go through the de-ice, anti-ice season, let's. Sometimes these terms are thrown interchangeably, and they're not interchangeable. So let's do a quick refresher. De-ice versus anti-ice. So de-icing, what we are going to do today is we're going to take ice or remove ice from the surface of the aircraft. Anytime you have a de-icing situation, you are removing ice from the aircraft. That could be like getting sprayed with Type 1, removing the ice and frost from the aircraft, or it could be a system such as a boot. Sometimes corporate jets, some turboprops, they have de-icing boots, which the way they work is allow ice to accumulate on the aircraft, and then as they inflate, they break the ice off. So that is a form of de-icing. The Airbus 320 that we're sitting in here today, we have an anti-icing system that also works as a de-icing system, but really it is an anti-ice system by use of jet engine bleed air to keep the critical surfaces warm, thus preventing any ice from building up. Now, if ice does build up and you turn it on, it will remove it. It will de-ice the wing, so I guess it is a little bit of a both de-ice, anti-ice. But by definition, having a hot wing, this is an anti-ice system. The outboard 3 slats, chat, are the only ones that are actually heated on the A320. So the tail is not heated. The inboard slat is not heated. Also, the engine cowling is heated. So the engine anti-ice right here is going to be that outer lip of the cowling, and the wing anti-ice will be the 3 outboard slats. We do not need to turn on the wing anti-ice on the ground. It does not work on the ground. You can do a maintenance test function on the ground. That's about it. Now, the engine anti-ice, however, we do use on the ground, especially when we are taxiing in, or really, I shouldn't say especially, we use it every time we are in icing conditions, such as temperatures about 10 degrees or less, and we are in visible moisture, or we are taxiing across visible moisture. So you may be taxiing around at 5 degrees Celsius, may not be actively snowing, but what if there's snow and, sometimes when they use the snow plows, they kind of pile up that snow on the side of the taxiways. There is a potential to ingest ice or water into the engine. So for that reason, when we're taxiing, we will turn on the engine anti-ice. So engine anti-ice, we're going to use it on the ground after startup and taxi out because we're definitely in icing conditions today. Wing anti-ice, we will turn that on when, Chad? If we are taking off, this is a little refresher, if we are taking off into icing conditions, we know we're going to be icing, we're taking off into icing conditions. When can we turn on that wing anti-ice? When do you remember when we can turn it on? If I ever had a chance to have a song for boarding music, it would have some Hellraising Norwegian death metal. I have to talk to Boris, see if we can get a different sound set. I guess the Phenom 100 is also de-ice boots and not anti-ice. Yeah, the Phenom has de-ice boots, and actually the Citations I flew, the Bravo, Gustavo, the Citation Bravo had a de-ice boot, and it also had a hot section on the inboard there. Heads up for the crossbleed, we don't yet have the thrust bump, so you'll have to increase thrust to get a proper start. Chaos, I appreciate that. That is a key piece of information that I needed to have, so thank you. The Slotation Mustang for sure is de-ice boots, not enough heat for a hot wing. Yep, but it does have that electrical inboard wing, though. Delta Tango says, I am super interested in the landing differences between the Neo and CEO. Can you elaborate during cruise? Delta Tango? Yes, I can. They're very similar. There are some differences, especially when you look at the flight augmentation, the facts, and how the Neos control quote-unquote auto rudder. Now, I don't remember if that's an option you can put on the CEOs, like that E-rudder. I think it's what it's called. Airbus calls it the E-rudder. I know our Neos have E-rudder, so there is some slight differences in landing. But if I remember, hit me up in cruise. Maybe we can get into it a little bit more. All right, so we can turn on the wing anti-ice after flap retraction. Correct, Tower Ray. So when flaps retracted is when we will then turn on the wing anti-ice. So it's, you're taking off. If you're taking off into icing conditions, and we know we can't turn on the wing anti-ice until we are at a clean wing, or flaps 0, what are some things we can do, or what is something we can do to help accelerate our climb, or accelerate our aircraft to get to a clean wing faster? Because if we can help it, we don't want to be flying around with our flaps out in icing conditions. So we have to do something, or it's a technique to do something to help get us to a clean wing faster. Right before a thrust increase on takeoff. Nope, RC Flyer, believe it or not, we don't turn on the wing anti-ice until we're actually in a clean wing. So on the 320 series anyway. V2 plus 10 says lower acceleration height possibly. You are pseudo correct. You could lower the acceleration height. However, acceleration height is a hard altitude which we do not lower unless instructed by either a manual or a TERPS, or let's just say, put it this way, I have never in my life lowered an acceleration height, because acceleration height is sometimes called like a safe altitude height, you know, or a height at which you're above obstacles, so you don't want to lower it. Those are predetermined altitudes. We're not going to lower the acceleration height, but here we go. Now I'm starting to see some more answers in chat. Toga, min maneuver speed. Toga, lower rate of climb. Yes, so that's what I was looking for. If we do a Toga thrust, we're going to get up faster. When we reduce the thrust levers, instead of going from climb thrust, or I should say flex thrust right into climb thrust, we're going to go from Toga to MCT. When we're in MCT, I might keep that flex MCT D10 in there a little bit longer to help that positive trend in airspeed get up faster to that flap retraction speed before going straight into climb thrust. Now, where you do have to kind of be a pilot and think a little bit ahead is, what is your initial altitude from ATC? If you have a low altitude from ATC, say you got like a 2,000 foot level off or 3,000, then you're probably just be fine with the flex going right into climb.
We're just wrapping up some paperwork up front here and waiting to receive final numbers from the ground crew, then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly with a very important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business having you aboard this flight. If there's anything we do to make your flight any more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask. Welcome aboard.
All right. Let's go ahead and do this, chat. So I would, at this time, the ground crew would probably be coming up, and they'd hand me the load sheet, and I'd say, hey, I just want to confirm with you we're doing a ground air start, and we will be starting number 2 first at the gate. Roger that, Cap. We're going to do number 2 first. You let me know when we're ready for ground air. Roger that. Sounds good. All right, let's come down here. Let's do a quick perf. We're doing a flap. You know, the Neos like flap 2, so I'm going to do flap 2. No flex, because we talked about it. We're going to do Toga thrust. That's going to help us get to that. We're going to accelerate. Get up to our acceleration altitude faster, and we're going to accelerate faster by going from Toga right into that flex MCT D10 and holding it before going right into climb, so we can get the wing clean and then get the wing anti-ice on. Our speeds today off 2-3, 26, 27, 31, no flex, flaps 2. Thrust reduction acceleration altitude is 2,200 feet, so we're not going to adjust that, but we can expect 2,200 feet there. That is our thrust reduction. Engine out is 1,700 feet, a little bit lower. All right. Everything looks good there. I'm going to turn the dome light on, actually, just because a little bit. Wow. There's good old Delta pilots doing their thing. So, we got our fuel on board. Let's finish up the rest of our checks. Done and done. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the... Now, this is going to be interesting. How do I close up here? Well, we can't prepare for pushback into departure yet because we need to have the jet bridge connected. So I'm going to turn the beacon on. Will they close the door?
Arm doors and cross-check.
So we need to keep the jet bridge connected to the aircraft so that we can use the jet bridge power. So let's go ahead and close you. We're good to close. And going over our ground air start. Pack 1, Pack 2 off, engine bleed 1, engine bleed 2 off, cross bleed is in the auto position. Check. We're on external power. I think we're just going to have to start it. I think we're just going to have to start without closing the door. Oh, we have power always on the ground at the stand? Okay. Can I go back to here? Can you close that for me? All right, look at that. Let's do a before start checklist. Windows, doors, and slides are closed and armed. Beacon is on. Thrust levers are idle. Before start checklist complete. We're going tiller cams coming on. All the things are on. All right, cockpit to ground. Ground to cockpit, go ahead. We are ready to receive ground air. Copy that, Captain. Ground air is turning on now. Let me know when you're ready to start. Roger that. All right, we're going to move the engine start selector to the ignition start position. And look at that. We have 36 PSI. Well, we need 25 minimum with the cross bleed valve is, or I should say the bleed valve is open. So, all right, we got a good pressure. We're going to go ahead and start engine number 2. Copy that, Cap. You are cleared to start engine number 2. Here we go. Turning 2. Look at that. You can see the pressure drop.
The will drop from overhead. Privilege hold the man towards you.
4-star, you're watching live from a JetBlue flight. That's awesome.
Be sure to put your mask on first before helping others, and we'll let you know when it's no longer needed. We'll be passing through the cabin to make sure we are ready for departure. You can help us by making sure your seatbelt is fastened. Your seat back is upright, your table is good, and I'll turn you in a bit away. If you have any questions about the safety features of this aircraft, please don't hesitate to ask. Looking to engage electronic devices, never let any flight, tampering with, disabling, or destroying smoke detectors and access questions to the federal offense that could result in a fine. For your convenience, this aircraft has 3 restrooms, one in the front of the cabin and 2 in the back, each equipped with an cheese. All these open being have a light for departure if you use their way to weapons.
Sounds like we have a good start. We're monitoring the rest of the startup here. The bleed valve is closed. We've got an avail light. We have a good start on number 2. All right, let's go ahead and disconnect the air start unit. And I'm going to move the ignition to normal. Now, before continuing, I would make sure that they have disconnected the air start unit, because I want to, as I turn on the packs and bleeds here, we're going to suck in any of that air, so make sure it's off before you actually turn it off. So let's go ahead and get the pack 1 off. Let me go back to my procedure here. Let me pull up the procedures. All right, engine 2 is started. External power check available. There we go. We've disconnected. Cockpit ground. You're good to remove ground power. If the air start is units to start engine 1. Now, this is what we could do. We could just start engine 1. Now, we'll do a cross bleed. If the cross bleed engine start procedure is used to start engine 1, which it will be, air start unit disconnection request, which we did, pack 1 on, pack 2 on, engine 2 bleed on, because we only have 1 engine, and cross bleed engine start procedure apply. So we're going to go to the cross bleed engine start procedure. APT bleed is off, supplying engine bleed is on, receiving engine bleed is off, cross bleed is still open. All right, so we are prepared, or we are set to do a cross bleed start. Now we have to get our engine anti-ice on as well. We can no longer need the probe window heat because an engine is started. So with the engine started, we no longer need the probe window heat. Our windows should remain defrosted. Now, what's interesting, and I don't think I've run into this scenario in recent years, is if I have to cross bleed an engine number 1 and I also have to receive de-icing, what do we do first? I'm actually thinking right now. Let me think through this. If we de-ice and then start an engine, it's going to take longer. I would rather start an engine and then get de-iced. At a remote pad. I don't know if GSX is gonna allow us to push back with an engine running though either.
You need to stop the engines to request ground services.
See? I knew that was gonna happen. Whoa, look at the ice on the blades over here. Alright. So let's go ahead and do the cross bleed. Actually, let's go de-ice at the pad. So let's do a pushback. Can we do a manual pushback here? Fly-by-wire pushback. We're going to do pushback system on. Alright, confirm. And we're going to call the tug. Tug is attached. And we need to go backwards. Winky, it's because of the snow that it won't let you do it. It's because of the snow conditions. Alright, so let's go ahead and go backwards. Release the brake. Alright. What we're going to do is we're going to push back, and then we will do a cross bleed, and then we'll get a remote de-ice over there. So we're not going to de-ice on the pad. But there we go. We're pushing back. Man, we're starting to get snowed up on. AJ, you just got your easy ship email? That's awesome, man. For the miniFCU? Fantastic. Nope, I want to go right. There we go. I know, it's trying to turn me into a snow cone. No, I like GSX Gigalotti. The problem is when you're in snow and ice conditions, they don't let you push back with engines running. So we're using fly-by-wire pushback to remedy that. And then we're going to use the remote de-ice function. So I said we were going to de-ice at the gate. We're going to do a remote de-ice. Procedures are similar, but we're going to taxi down to 2-3. Now we do have some traffic here. 1987, what is Unicom? 122.8, 22.8 is on. And radio check 22.8. Is that Unicom or is it 2285? I forget. That snow on the engine looks good. I know, Chase, but it actually does look pretty good. That looks pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and sharpen up that turn to the right. There we go. Let's make it a nice tight turn. Doesn't Cleveland want to say hi? Oh, do we have to talk to Cleveland? Well, we're not. We're pushing in a non-movement area, so we're all right. Oh, look at that, though. That is awesome. That's a pretty darn good pushback, if I don't say so myself. A little bit more. Oh, no, no, no. Wrong way. There we go. A little bit more. And now stop it. Oh, my goodness. I'm like a professional tug driver. Let's go ahead and stop. Let's go ahead and set the brake. Let's go ahead and disconnect. And we'll do a cross bleed here. Alright, so I'm waiting for the nose wheel steering disconnect to go away. There we go, we have disconnected. And I will go ahead and turn off the pushback system. Okay, cross bleed engine start. Here we go, APU bleed is off, engine bleed supplying engine is on. Engine bleed receiving engine is off. Cross bleed is open when clear of obstacles. Thrust lever supplying engine adjust for bleed pressure without our thrust bump. So we're going to move this to ignition start, and you can see here we've got a little bit of juice, but we'll give her a little more. About 40 psi. Start engine one, starting one. Here we go. There it is. We got pressure. Man, I love it. It's a lot of work, Chaos. Why'd you make me do this? We haven't even got to the de-icing yet. Kick out, good to see you, man. Hello from Redondo Beach. Ooh. I'm jealous, man. My whole house was frosted over this morning. You're down on the beach. Bus transfer. Look at our temperatures. 5C. We got to warm up our engines. We're going to need a full 5-minute warm-up plus. All right, let's go ahead and start the chrono so we got our warm-up time. All right, we got an Avail light. Number 2 engine's coming back down. That's coming back down. Now, because we are going to de-ice, we are not going to... actually, we are going to configure prior to de-ice, I think, right? Let me double check. Let's finish this procedure first. Okay, so when engine is started, thrust lever is idle. Cross bleed back to the auto position. Engine bleed, receiving engine on. Pack 1 is on. Pack 2 is on. End of procedure. Our engine is running. What do we need, chat? We need the engine anti-ice now for number 1. Alright, so with that all done, now let me pull up the de-icing, anti-icing, and let me read through this here. External, config 0. Keep the flaps 0 until 3 minutes prior to takeoff. That's what I needed to know. So let's simulate a little de-icing line up here. So JetBlue 357 ramp control, taxi straight ahead, contact Iceman on 22.8. All right, we'll taxi straight ahead, contact the Iceman on 22.8, JetBlue 357. So let's go brakes off. We're going to go up to the remote de-icing stand. We are not going to do a full-blown after-start takeoff, or after-start checklist rather, because we need to do our de-icing procedure first. We want to make sure the flaps and slats are in config 0 until 3 minutes prior to takeoff. The reason being is you don't want to get sprayed and then get all that ice and snow off your airplane and then put the flaps out and have it sit out there getting contaminated. Now that defeats the whole purpose, right? So let's keep everything sucked up nice and clean. We'll do a little taxi out here. Make sure our brake pressures are working. Brake check, pressure 0, beautiful. Mr. Dog, just in time for de-icing. Yes, sir. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll hold short here at Alpha 1. We'll configure for de-icing. That way people can taxi around us if need be here. So this is not where they de-ice in real life, but just semantics. All right, here we go. We'll go ahead and stop right here. Brakes are set. Iceman 22.8 is up. Iceman JetBlue 357. Or actually, he'd probably be calling you by the ship number, so it'd be Tail 624 Juliet Bravo Iceman. 624 Juliet Bravo Iceman, go ahead. Alright, let us know when you are ready for de-icing. Roger that. Before fluid spraying, in all situations, it is the captain's responsibility to decide if the ground crew must de-ice, anti-ice the aircraft, and or if additional de-icing, anti-icing treatment is required. I'm going to kind of read through the long-winded procedure because I haven't done this procedure in over a year, and with the going into the winter season, I'll probably be doing it for real. So we're going to read through the whole procedure here. This stream is for entertainment for you, and it's just as much as a help for me because I'm digging into my own book. These are real-world procedures. Real life, we'd probably skip a lot of these, like just briefings, and go right to the procedure, but I want to make sure I'm familiar with it right now. So communication with ground crew has been established. Do not start the engines during fluid spraying. So no engine start during spraying. That's pretty self-explanatory. Caution. The ground crew should take care when spraying de-icing fluid and make sure that the engines and APU do not ingest any fluid. Do not move flaps, slats, ailerons, spoilers, or elevators if they are not free of ice. Always ensure that both left and right side of the aircraft receive the same complete and symmetrical de-icing, anti-icing treatment. In the case of frost formation on one or several areas of the wings, the captain can request a local de-icing application on the affected areas. The captain shall take care that both wings receive the same symmetrical treatment, blah, blah, blah. All right, here we go. Now we get into the procedure. Parking brake, it is on. External air is disconnected. Cabin pressure mode selector. Check auto. Cabin pressure mode selector is in auto. Engine bleed 1, off. Engine bleed 2, off. Note, if both engines are running, the air engine 1-2 bleed fault alert triggers when both engine bleed push button switches are off. If this occurs, disregard the alert. So no ECAM, disregarding, even if it were to pop up. APU bleed is off. Ditching push button on. Can we do that in this? Hey! Ditching push button closes all open valves below the waterline of the aircraft. That's why we turn that on. Broadband switch for Wi-Fi aircraft off. Do we have a broadband switch? I bet we don't. It would be somewhere over here, right behind this jump seat head. So the broadband switch would be off if we had Wi-Fi. Thrust levers check idle. If engine shut down or shutdown required, that does not apply. Passengers notify. Ladies and gentlemen from the Flightbox Captain speaking here. Just short of the taxiway. We are still on the active taxiway though, so well, that was bad announcement. Let me start over. Ladies and gentlemen from the Flightbox, just wanted to give you a little bit of information here. You'll notice we are just short of a active runway. We are on a taxiway, however, so I do ask that you remain seated with your seatbelts fastened. You're going to notice some trucks approach the aircraft, and they're going to be spraying some fluid onto the wings and onto the fuselage. Not to be alarmed, that's just normal procedure. We're going to go ahead and get some of the snow and ice off of the aircraft so we can take off. Just normal procedure. It's going to take a couple of minutes. I do appreciate your patience. And once again, please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened. Thank you. All right. So, now let's go ahead and continue. Upon completion, okay, here we go. Engine masters, passengers notify, inform ground crew that we are ready for spraying. So, Iceman, this is tail 624 Juliet Bravo. 624 Juliet Bravo, go ahead. All right, we are configured, ready for de-ice. 624 Juliet Bravo, roger that. We are commencing de-icing.
The icing vehicles are coming now.
So we're going to call it de-ice. I haven't de-iced in over 5 years. Missed every major storm. Cat cow, I'm jealous, man. All right, so we're going to do a Type 4 treatment today. A little bit of snowflakes flying around still. Look at that set. Look at the weather. Gosh, I love it.
Is ready for treatment.
That's affirmative. We are ready. We're going to do a Type 4 today. Should be green.
Treatment now and observe. Fluid type 4. Concentration at 100%. I will call you back when ready.
Roger that. All right, they're going to commence the spraying. Shaq Oatmeal, the Lift Flight Academy himself. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well, Shaq. Love seeing your progress over there on your real-world training, man. So exciting, Shaq. If you guys haven't already, check out Shaq Oatmeal. The man is chasing his dreams. Good to see you, bud. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. All right, so you can see them spraying the wings. What the passengers are looking at, they're like, what the hell is going on? If only we could do Type 1 full body and then Type 4 wings and tail. That would be a cool. Safe Aero 220. Hey, look, the 220. It's like the Embraer 220 or whatever, Bombardier 220. It's everything but an Airbus. All right, good question there. What's the difference between types? So, expenses aside, Type 1 is definitely the cheapest. Type 4 is the most expensive. What Type 4 does, what you see here with the green fluid, is it adheres to the surfaces, so the critical surfaces, the wings and tails, ailerons, flight control surfaces, all that. And it has the longest holdover time, meaning that it can withstand the elements longer than any of the other types. So Type 3, Type 2, and Type 1. It can withstand the elements, and when you go to rotate or above a certain speed on takeoff roll, that fluid is then going to come off of the wings and it's going to take all that snow and ice with it.
Fluid type 4. Concentration at 100%. I'm disconnected. Good day.
So he gave us Type 4 at 100%. So that's the best treatment you can get. The Type 1, we won't get into 2 and 3 right now for time purposes, but Type 1 fluid, it's basically a mix of hot water and glycol, and it's really good for removing frost, but it does not allow you to go a long period of time in an active precipitating environment. So if it's actively snowing, you can't just get away with Type 1. You're going to need Type 4 to stay on the wings longer. So Type 1, think of it as your, hey, I just got to the airplane, it's frosted, it's covered in frost, we need to get the frost off. Cool. It's not snowing or raining right now, we're set. Well, it wouldn't be raining, it would only be snow. If it's not snowing, you don't need anything else. If it is snowing or there's still some active precipitation, you're going to need another type of de-ice fluid. So that's kind of a quick breakdown. All right, we have been completed. So de-icing report, inform the ground personnel who perform the de-icing, anti-icing, post-application check. Must include the anti-icing code, aircraft tail number, type of fluid used, percentage, fluid type, for types 2 and 4 only, 75-25 mixture, or in this case we got a 100% mixture. The start time of the final application, so when they started spraying, let's say we're commencing de-icing at 18:00, or probably would have been like what, 1755 local. Okay, so we're going to keep and remember that. And when it's complete, ditching push button. So now we're going to reconfigure. So ditching push button off. Let's close that up. Outflow valve, check open. We're going to go to the pressurization page. We're going to make sure our outflow valve is open. It is open now. Good. Okay. At least 1 minute after completion of spraying operations, we turn the bleeds on. The reason we wait at least 1 minute is so that we can don't inadvertently fume out our whole cabin, because if any of that fluid has leaked into the pack inlet area, which inevitably it can, even though they're not spraying it, sometimes it leaks down over the fuselage, over that wing root, and gets into that ingestion, and it can smell really terrible in the cabin. So what we're doing by not allowing the bleeds to be turned on is we're basically, that's just burning everything out. So it's not allowing any of that to come into the cabin right now. So we're going to go for about another minute. If engine start is required, that does not apply. Probe window heat is an auto. Ground equipment removed. Flaps config 0. Keep flaps config 0 until 3 minutes prior to takeoff. Taxi flow checklist. Taxi clearance obtain. And resume. Alright. During taxi runway, section of de-icing and appropriate, pay attention to the flight control check. In freezing precipitation, perform the appropriate checks to evaluate aircraft icing. Base the decision on whether to take off or to re-protect the aircraft. On the amount, blah, blah, blah. And then holdover times. So we're not going to get into holdover times because we're already getting long in the stream right now. So it's been 1 minute, so let's go ahead and get our bleeds on. And I think we have to keep this on for Microsoft Flight Simulator purposes, but if in real life this wing would be off right now. Alright, looks like center is offline. So let's go ahead and taxi on out. Buffalo traffic, JetBlue 357, we're going to taxi to runway 23, Buffalo. We're going to go ahead and do our configuration after we cross the runway. Is there any reason to have less than 100% concentration? Depending on the station. Maybe they just don't have it. Or maybe money. But most of the time it should be 100%. Alright, we're going to go ahead and cross 14 and 32. And then once we cross, we're going to do our check. So normally we would turn the lights on right now. We're going to skip that for right now. Looks like that snow band, that lake effect snow is lifted up right now. That's perfect. Jalen Hurts for MVP. Shaq Oatmeal. I tell you what, man. Jalen Hurts the real deal, dude. He is the real deal. Alright, we are clearing the runway. Let's go ahead and configure. So, we're going to go arm U. Let's go config 2 on the flaps. Hey Shaq, who beat the Eagles? You're 8-1, right? Who beat them? Can you tell me who beat them again? Let's do a takeoff config check. Let's go. Radar PWS is on auto. Auto. TARA. Start the chrono. Make sure we take off within 3 minutes. Do a forward cabin call. Again, the wing anti-ice would be off right now, but that's just GSX Microsoft way of doing de-icing. So we're going to leave it on. Nice clean wing. We got 3 minutes to blast off. Your memory has a block for week 9. I believe it was the New York Jets. Dak is playing well this season, indeed. Big game on Thursday night. Why 3 minutes? Pain, because we don't want to have the flaps extended in icing conditions for long periods, prolonged periods of time, because we de-iced with them up, right? So theoretically there's no de-icing fluid on them, so we want to make sure that we get airborne rapidly. All right, let's go ahead and light it up and get out of here. Jeez, it's only been what, an hour since the stream started? Here we go. Buffalo traffic, JetBlue 357 departing runway 23. Nobody's on anyway. Oh yeah, we never did our flight control checks, Tiger dude. We never did our taxi checklist. Rip. We'll do them here on the taxi, on the runway. We'll do them here on the runway. Flight controls. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Hold on, I need to actually turn on to the runway right now. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. All right, we're 2 minutes in. Look at that. Finally. All right. Let's get out of here. Chat, are you ready? I'm ready. Yoga's in chat. Spool them up 50. Let's go to Boston. 2:25 on the time. Perfect. Yoga. I love that sound. All right, man, Toga, SRS runway auto thrust is blue. Thrust set 100 knots. Check. V1. Rotate. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Positive rate. Gear up. Navin. Oh my gosh, I love the way this thing rotates. Fly with it. Look at the weather change. Oh, that is just beautiful. In between snow bands here. I love this sim. .2200 acceleration altitude. Now we're not in active icing conditions anymore, so we gotta do it from window view. Oh. We're thrust climb auto thrust. There's F speed. Let's go flaps 1. Looks like we might enter another snow band here. Beautiful. This is beautiful. Let's go flaps 0 after takeoff confident or after takeoff checklist. Man, if y'all haven't already, smash down the like button for that departure. That was so pretty. All right, stop flying your airplane with the mouse, chat. Let's go autopilot 1. I love miniFCU. JetBlue 357, turn left, fly heading 210. Left turn 210, JetBlue 357. See, I can be my own ATC. We don't even need to go up into the cockpit to see, what we're doing, because we know what we're doing. Where's our en route fix, though? It's going to be off our left. JetBlue 357, turn left, heading 180 now. 180 with the miniFCU. Here we go. Getting ready for a breakout. Getting ready for a breakout, chat. Here it comes. Oh my goodness. JetBlue 3%, continue left turn. 100. 100 now. This box is awesome. Being able to finally fly your airplane the way Airbus had intended you to fly it, not with the mouse clicky, so much nicer. All right, I'll turn down the sim sounds a little bit. All right, Lauren's got a vector for us. JetBlue 357, fly heading 090 when able, direct ponked. 090, direct pong, JetBlue 357. All right, 090 is set. We're leveling 10,000, and when able, direct to ponked. So, direct to ponked. Insert. We still need an altitude, but we're above 10, so let's go ahead and turn off these lights. We'll turn these off. We'll turn these off. We'll turn the wing anti-ice off. I'll leave the engine anti-ice on just for purposes here, for sim purposes here. Ponseat, is that what it's called? Ponseat? I need a step climb. What did I fly? 39. Let's just say, let's do 240 to get us to the high sector. Thrust climb, open climb, 240 blue. Here we go. Ponset. Ponset, thank you. Ponset is the fix. Kanoki coming in with the €6 donation. Kanoki, thank you so much for the support. Half a meter snow today on the aircraft at Berlin Airport. Oof. We need V1 to teach the pilots how to do winter ops over here. Go Captain. Hey, Kanoki, thank you so much for the support and that donation, man. Stay warm out there in Berlin. Half a meter of snow. So what's that, like a foot and a half? Woof. Appreciate the support, Kanoki, though. Stay warm. Stay warm out there in German land. Oh, we're going right through, watch this. I don't want to fly through that cloud. Let's do a little, we'll do a little one of these things. Gutsiest move I've ever seen, Mav. And we'll go ahead and bring it right back to the left. Put it on an intercept and manage nav. I love it. Okay, so I've used, which is not working. I have, my biggest pet peeve with this box is the mounting options. Mounting options are pretty terrible. Right now, I have the command strips in there. I need 2 more of them. I have 2 on front and back, but I need to put 2 on left and right because it rocks to the left a little bit. So I need 4 command strips. I need 2 more. .5 meters is around 5 feet? I thought a meter was 3 feet. Anyway, that's a lot. Let's go back to full screen cam with the FCU. Alright, we're above all the ice, so let's go ahead and get our engine anti-ice off. One thing you always want to check too, especially after messing with all of the... Oh, anti-ice. Okay, fine. Here we go. Engine anti-ice is coming on. It wants it on. It's on. Especially after messing with a lot of pressurization stuff, closing the outflow valve, closing the ditching push button, all that. We want to make sure that we are indeed pressurizing in the climb out. I mean, you do it every flight, but especially pay attention to it after doing some strange configuration changes for the de-ice anti-ice procedure. So we are pressurizing. That looks good. We're on our way up to 240. 1 meter is 1 meter, so 3.3 is 1.5. Oh, I'm confused. Either way, it's a lot more snow than I received. How do you adjust the brightness in the FCU? Gustavo, that I do not know. Use 3M double-sided tape. That's a good idea. I will probably have to do that. I'll probably get some double-sided tape and just do like all 4 sides of it. And then what I've done is I've actually mounted this box to my Thrustmaster Warthog plate, which I have clamped to the desk. So then I can just move the FCU. So the FCU is on its own little plate. Then I've clamped the plate down, and I'm going to mount, and I'm mounting the FCU to the plate. Any plans for turboprop and icing conditions stream? Ooh. Probably this week. I'm off. I've been super busy with work, and then of course Thanksgiving holiday and all that. But I've got a much lighter load now. We're into coast mode, so yeah, I think we can do that. And as long as the internet's holding good right now, which it seems to be holding good, I could definitely get back into some turboprop action. Notice the American units on the cabin temps. Oh, we've got American units now. Look at that, 75, perfect cabin. All right, we're out of 18,000 feet. STDs for you, me, and Chaos. They're all set, 1, 2, and 3. Standard set, JetBlue 357, continue climb 5, flight level 340. 34, JetBlue 357. We filed 39, optimum 39. Actually, let's just get 39, all the way up 390. Do you guys want me to turn the, I kind of want to turn the light off so we can do night mode of the FCU. Do you want to see night mode of the FCU again? I just like it. I'm going to do it anyway, whether you want to see it or not. Be right back. How cool is that? I don't know how to dim it. Chaos. I don't know who asked that question though. I thought it showed it dimmable. That's not doing it. Did the camera finally focus? I do have the cheap camera on there, I'm sorry. Gotta buy a new one. Captain Vikas with the 440 rules? Indian, not rupees, gosh. Thank you so much, Captain Vikas, appreciate you. It says, I didn't know de-icing existed on FS 2020. We don't even have de-icing pads in most airports here in India, but nice to see what I studied in line training. Yes, you probably do not have icing pads in India. I would imagine that is something that is skipped over there. Wow, look at that view. But yeah, we definitely have them here in the U.S. It just adds a little bit of time, that's all. It doesn't like low light conditions. Let's see. Maybe it's so I just think it looks cooler. It looks way cooler, I think. But Vikas, appreciate that donation, my friend. Where can we buy the box? It's not out yet. The backers have it. So this was a Kickstarter project that started at the beginning of the year. Basically, everybody that pledged is starting to receive their units. I believe someone said they received their unit here like a few minutes ago, but they're starting to ship now. So once they get the units out there, I think then they're going to open up their store, and then it'll be an orderable product. Let's see. Somebody has something about the dimmable situation. Mobi flight support. That's what we're lacking. And I think, Chaos, correct me if I'm wrong, but does Mobi flight, will that help it work with Quartz and the Fenix? So the reason I had a poll in chat today, guys, was should we fly the Fenix or the fly-by-wire, is the Fenix, while you can still use the box and it will still control the FCU, you will not have any readouts on your FCU. So basically it's just going to be all dashed out, not even dashed, it'll just be blank, but the knobs will work. And that's due to the ProSim licensing that Fenix uses. So there's kind of a blocking there. Now I thought there was a way to get it compatible, fully compatible, and I think that will happen when Mobi Flight gets supported. Zippy, you missed the poll. Yeah, there was definitely a poll today. But we're looking good. All right, we're 26 for 39. It's actually a relatively short flight, so let's try to enjoy our views while we can. What I love about Microsoft, and this is all real weather too, like just look at that. It just looks exactly like, I feel like it's winter. So you get those frontal bands that move through, and sometimes you get these low clouds like this, but then above it, it is just a clear ice blue, cold, wintry day. Like I can feel the jet stream in this image right now. I can feel the jet stream. What is our tailwind component? I bet you it's pretty nice. Yeah, 70 knots. That's pretty good. But you just don't get this in other sims. You don't get this environment, which is why I love this sim. Fragtality, he is here. He says Mobi flight support would not be necessary if miniCockpit just would test if the Quartz LFRs exist and just use them. Interesting. So they need to do more. They need to do more on their end. It would be nice if it worked with the Fenix, no doubt. We will fly it in the Fenix. Maybe we'll do another one. I don't know. I got nothing going on today. What is tonight? Wednesday night? I don't know. I don't really. Like, I'm off this whole week. I've literally had a stretch of, I think I had 2 days off in 12. I pretty much stacked all my day trips in one part of the month. And I'm just coming off of that. I've got some good stories to tell y'all. I've got some good podcasts. Is Christy still here? Where's AJ at? I have some good podcast stories to tell. God, like 3. 2 for sure. 1 I may not tell publicly. But 2 scenarios that happened to me within the last week that just like, I'm just like, really. It's been a busy week. And then, of course, we had Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving, all those who celebrate here in the channel, all my American followers. It was ours was all right. My little girl got sick, which was terrible because she was so looking forward to Thanksgiving. She had a stomach bug. She's like throwing up and stuff, but it was so sad. It was one of the saddest moments I have in recent memory. So like, she was so excited for Thanksgiving. I saw her door. She's supposed to be up in her room sleeping. I saw her doors open. I'm like, where's Layla? And like the family's in town, everybody's getting ready for dinner, and she's in. So we had a little separate table set up for the little kids, and she's in the dining room by herself, sitting at her little table with her unicorn robe on, just sitting in her chair all quiet. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I just didn't want to miss Thanksgiving. It's like, it pulled at my heartstrings. It's like, ah. So other than that aspect of it, it was a pretty decent Thanksgiving at the V1 household. Glad I wasn't at Hartsfield for Thanksgiving. Mr. Martini, I tell you what, I did a LaGuardia flight from Hartsfield up to LaGuardia and back on Thanksgiving morning. And believe it or not, dude, it was dead. The flight was full, but the terminal was dead. The security lines were dead. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what is going on? Granted, it was 5 o'clock in the morning, but still, just dead. Went up to LaGuardia, got my Dunkin' coffee. Y'all probably saw the community post of I used to always post a picture of that turkey in the King Air, or I think that was 99. That was 99, a Beach 99. I think it was an A model 99, if I'm not mistaken, too. An old 99 turkey versus now having a Dunkin' coffee and a nice warm 320. It's crazy. Have you ever had a de-ice in Florida? Kyle, great question. I'm glad you brought it up. So I'll tell you my little Florida de-icing story. So once upon a time, we were in Jacksonville, and we had an early report. I think it was like a 6 a.m., maybe even earlier. It might have been like a 6 a.m. departure, like a 5 a.m. report, 5:15, something around there. Anyway, first flight out of the day. We'll get back to that in a second.
Wait, did I hear the word podcast? All are my ears deceiving me?
I knew I shouldn't have said anything.
I probably didn't hear it, because like that hasn't happened since. Well, anyway, when you do, here's another
Oh, Callie Simmer, appreciate the $10 bank angle check. Callie Simmer, appreciate you. Bank angle check right back at you. I'm going to save that $10 bank angle check directly for the next podcast. The next podcast will be brought to you by Callie Simmer. Maybe we just have to do it a live one. Maybe we'll do it here. I'll get a peppermint mocha. We'll just do a flight. Like, I won't even we'll just do a flight. We'll be in cruise and we'll just talk. Kind of like we used to do at the very beginning. Thank you, Callie Simmer. Appreciate the support. Yeah, look at this partial frozen lake right here. And it's frozen to the north. How cool is this? So, like, this is where it's colder and where all the lake effect snow has been hitting. And then as you go further south, it defrosts. Gustavo, where are you at, man? Show me where in X-Plane 12 you get this environment, huh? I'm actually liking this JetBlue livery, too. I'm starting to like JetBlue liveries. Catco, where you at, man? But isn't that crazy? Icy up here to the north where the snow bands move through, and still fluid over here towards the south. I love Microsoft Flight Simulator. I almost like this better than real flying. There must be something wrong with me. All right, let's back to our Jacksonville story. So, yeah, first flight of the morning, and this was like, oh man, it's probably, y'all probably remember. I think it was like maybe about 10 years ago, where there was a freeze. There was an actual freeze in Florida, kind of in the northern panhandle part, and everybody was freaking out because that just doesn't happen in Florida. Like, maybe it hits 32, but I think at night it got down to the low 20s. So we get out to the airplane, early morning jacks, and FO's like, hey, Cap, there's frost all over the airplane. I'm like, really? Well, that's interesting. So I go out and I look at it, and you can depart with a little bit of thin hoar frost on the top of the fuselage and underneath the wing tank due to the cold soaked fuel and all that. This was not the case. There was frost all over the airplane. It basically looked like the airplane had just had a light coating of cotton candy over it. Of course, it was dark, so when I walked up to the gate, I couldn't see that. That's why you do. It's important. That's the importance of a pre-flight. As much frost as there was on the airplane, couldn't really tell just by looking out the gate window there before I go down the jet bridge. But you go outside with a flashlight. Daggone, there's frost all over this airplane. oh boy, Team Vodka just doesn't want to let me have a story time, does he? Team Vodka dropping 20 gifted memberships. The Santa Claus himself, as Christy says. Team Vodka, aka Santa Claus, just gifted 20 memberships to the chat. I'm going to mute the alert box for this. Y'all, if you pick up a membership from Team Vodka, make sure you say thank you. Team Vodka, from me to you, appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much for the support, dude. Hope you're well. We're going to have to get together one of these days, Team Vodka, for real. I do enough Minneapolis flying. We're going to have to get together, man. I appreciate the support, dude. Very kind of you. So, I'm like, all right, we got to get the airplane de-iced. Call ops, and they're like, we don't have any de-ice trucks. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, the airline doesn't have any de-ice trucks? Like, no. Like, we don't, the airport does not own a single de-ice truck in Jacksonville, Florida. Okay, well, that's a problem. So, we're trying to think of what we're going to do. We're like, well, if we can't get de-ice, we obviously can't take the airplane. Can we do a plane swap? There's no other tails. It's an outstation. Jacksonville's an outstation. No other tails there. I'm like, well, I guess we're going to have to wait for this to melt. So the FO and I are like, well, what if we taxi it to where the sun's going to rise? If you've been to Jacksonville, the airport, there's like, you kind of see where the trees are. And like, so it's kind of sitting, it's a cutout, right? And all the, I think, what are they, pine trees down there in Florida? So we were going to reposition the airport to the more western side. So as the sun came up, it would be the first to hit. So we literally fired up the airplane, no passengers, and I made an announcement. I actually made a PA at the gate on the little phone there. It's like, well, there's no de-ice trucks here, but there's ice on the airplane. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this airplane, we're going to taxi it over to where the sun's going to rise first, and we're going to let the sun thaw it out. We're not leaving you behind. Please be patient, yada, yada. It was getting close to Christmas time, too, around this time. So, you know, the passengers freak out. They see the airplane leave the gate. They think we're leaving without them. Like, nope, we're just going to the other side of the airport. We're going to taxi there. We're going to wait for the sun to come up and de-ice the airplane the old school way. So, yeah, we taxied over there. We parked the airplane, shut it down, and we waited for the sun to come up. And, you know, sure enough, I think it took about an hour and a half. By the time everything was finally nice and thawed out, it warmed up above 32 relatively quickly, and then as soon as the sun starts hitting the airplane, it gets that light frost off pretty quick. But yeah, that was my Florida de-icing experience. What plane was it? That was an Embraer 170. That was an old Embraer 170 in U.S. Airways colors. So that was the only way we get de-iced. Is cold soak fuel frosting an Airbus or only Boeing? At SWA, we have to worry about a long flight, 3 hours or more, going into Florida for that reason. I don't know if it's... I wouldn't... So when I talk about cold soak fuel, Andrew, it's basically like that. There's two things you're talking about. Cold soak fuel, like up at altitude, if our outside air temp is below a certain degree, we have to monitor the fuel temps. But what happens normally, like on the ground, you put that cold soak fuel into the wing tanks, it creates that moisture, and then if it's cold enough, it'll freeze. So I don't know if it's specific to Airbus. I'm not rated on the 737, but it's just for in our procedure that, hey, you can leave. You're allowed to leave with that little bit of thin hoarfrost underneath the wing there due to that cold soak fuel. And you can actually leave with a little bit of hoarfrost on top of the fuselage as well. So if you have a little bit of frost on top of the fuselage and then some under the wing, you can still leave. But it has to be, I can't remember the millimeter of where it says how thick it has to be. But basically, think about credit card thickness. That's about as much as it can be. It can't be much.
As we begin to settle in, I do want to remind you to please keep your seat elbows clear from the aisle as the flight attendants will be coming through the cabin with galley cards shortly. Also, one more reminder to please refrain from congregating near the front galley where the flight deck door is located. Thank you.
Hello, V1 and all. Just joined my YouTube defaulted 480p on my TV. Ooh, and then Microsoft 27. And even then, Microsoft still looks incredible. Agreed, man. All right, we are leveling 390. We don't have a whole lot of time up here. We're only 208 miles from the airport. Seatbelt sign is coming off. Let's do a little outside view check. We'll turn the sim way down. And Where do we want to put the cam? Let's put it right there for now. We'll enjoy the view. Ooh, Boston is on. Oh man, everybody. Boston Tower is on. Approach is on. Ooh. Boston arrival ATIS. Sweet. I hope we get extra vectored. Can I put in my flight plan like, hey, requesting maximum amount of vectors so I can use my miniFCU? Let's see. The information is Kilo at Boston. Few clouds, broken 25,000. Temperature 2, dew point -9, 3001 on the meter. Let's see, approach is being conducted intersecting runways 27 and 22 left approaches in use, departing 22 right, lasso in effect on 22 left and 27. Expect full length unless otherwise directed. Read back all hordes short runways, yada yada, numerous cranes. Alright, so pretty mild day down there in Boston. The winds, though, are 250 at 17, gust 2-3, so a little bit of gusty winds, typical this time of year. But pretty decent visibility and cold outside. How significantly do you think the fly-by-wire will be once the free IndyBuilds 320 Neo comes out? Fighter, I have no idea because I don't know the extent of which the IndyBuilds 320 is simulated at. Now, I'm definitely going to give it a try. The one thing that I've only seen 1 or 2 streams on it from XP72 when he was flying the IndyBuilds 320 Neo. What I can tell just from watching his streams is that the modeling is IndyBuilds quality. It looks very good. The model looks good. The textures look good. The cockpit looks great. So from that aspect, I like it. What I don't know is I'm not sure how much of the systems are modeled. I don't know how it flies. We're going to have to try all of those things out here on the channel locally. Now, I know there's other content creators that are pumping out videos, saying it's the best thing since sliced bread, who have also never flown the 320 Neo. So you can take it for what it's worth. But we'll put it through its paces once it releases. I personally just don't have any desire to go into the beta right now. I think once you go into the beta, you're pretty much locked in for that cycle, right? You can't come out. So I don't want to jump out. But from what I saw on XP's stream, I enjoyed it. I mean, it looked good. I mean, he's XP72 had a good time flying it. He said he really enjoyed it. I think he also said the sounds weren't as I've been saying the word visceral. I think that's a good way to well, maybe that's not a good word to explain the fly-by-wire. The fly-by-wire sounds are very good. They're very enhanced. I don't know, enhanced is the wrong word. They're bold. The fly-by-wire sounds are bold and crisp, and they really help encompass the whole flight experience, right? From announcements from the pilots, from the not ground crew, but the cabin crew, the passengers, the boarding music. So when you fly the fly-by-wire, you really have this whole encompassing feeling that you're actually boarding a flight, you're doing the flight, you're leveling off, you're getting announcements. It's a complete sound pack, whereas what I saw on the IndyBuilds 320 Neo, it's just pretty much just your bass sounds for the airplane. That's about it. But it is, of course, in beta right now, so once it does release, we'll have to see. We'll have to see for ourselves. I don't think Sim Update 14 is that far away. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. High fidelity. There's the word I was looking for. That's a good way to say it. The fly-by-wire sounds are definitely high fidelity and immersive. Yes, they're immersive. That's another way that I like to describe the fly-by-wire sounds. Some people say, oh, I like fly-by-wire sounds better than Fenix sounds. Or I like, rather, other way around. I like Fenix sounds better than fly-by-wire sounds. And while I don't disagree that the Fenix has a phenomenal sound set for the 320 Classic as well, it doesn't have those other sounds that are, the cabin and the announcements, so you may be missing that feeling. It just depends on personal preference. Everybody's got a personal preference, and for me, I like having a diversity of sounds, right? Fly the Fenix, I got great airplane sounds. Period, full stop. Sounds phenomenal. I fly the fly-by-wire, I got great airplane sounds, and I have an immersive audio sound set. Like, I feel like I'm part of a crew. I feel like I got flight attendants on board. I feel like there's passengers on board. I feel like I'm doing the whole flight. It's more alive, maybe. But not everybody cares about that. So, and there's add-ons for that too, right? Like Pack X. What's the one XP uses? I think he uses Pack X all the time for additional announcements. So there's ways around that. Have you tried the haptic feedback pad? No, I have not. If they release with the indie builds, anyone can ask the source code from MSF. Oh yeah, there's some dramas, right? I think there were some dramas about the everything. All right, I don't know what our bottom altitude is yet. I'm gonna just set 30 for right now. Let's do some work, chat. We got to go to work here. We're going into Boston. We got ATC on. We need to look at our arrival. We're on the Star, on the J-Fun 2. Let's make it full screen here. And let's make it day mode because we don't have to worry about battery power. Unlike my real world iPad, which dies within 10 minutes. Going out to the 2.2s, I think it's going to be Sheeg at 6,000, right? So let me go ahead and, what was I doing trying to scroll in the window? Let me go ahead and set 6,000 in the miniFCU. 6,000 is set. Let me verify my waypoints all the way down J-Fun. No, it goes all the way down to Lowland. So Lowland, low level wind is 210 at 6,000. There we go. That's where we branch off. 210 at 6,000 for the 2.2 transition. That's in the box. Let's get an updated weather, and we're going to start down here at 5 prior to Poncet, which is what we do in the real airplane, just about 5 prior. So here comes, there's our 10-mile ring. There's our 5-mile ring right about now. Manage descent. Oh my gosh, I love this box. I cannot... There are few things in Flight Simulator where I get a hold of and I have that that feeling of, oh my goodness, this is so incredible. I can't wait for you guys to experience it. Couple things. The joystick, FSprojects joystick, same. I was like, man, I love this stick so much. I can't wait for you guys to get a hold of it. Throttletek. I love my Airbus throttle stuff so much. I can't wait for you guys to get a hold of it.
As we have noticed, we have begun our initial
And now,
down to our
it's
destination.
the
Now would be a
miniFCU.
good time to wrap up
It is going to
Take
connect
your
you to the Airbus like you haven't felt
If you
before,
are
I'm
up,
telling you.
once return to your seat, we ask that
It
you
seems
remain
so
seated
small.
and drive safely at the
It
gate.
seems like such a
By the time,
small
please grab the cab for a ride.
thing, but not having to mouse wheel scroll and use the actual brains of the Airbus right here, it's awesome. You're absolutely going to love it. All right, we are starting down. Let's get the ATIS here. Oh, I wanted to show you guys. I took some pictures. I want to see how big these knobs are. So the last time I was in the airplane, I was trying to get some references to see how big the knobs are, and I got to pull it out. I'll do that here in a second. Let me just get the rest of the box loaded up here. $250, 17 plus 2.
Ice baby. A stream as cold as the Jets playoff chances. Good to have you back streaming V1.
Ooh, shots fired from Havoc. Hey, man, look, this year is a win. I don't have to see Zach Wilson in a uniform ever again. So, hey, at least I got that going for me. Thank you for the $10 bank angle check, Havoc. Yeah, but the playoff chances are dashed for the Jets. But we still got the Cowboys. We still got the Cowboys. We them boys. And we're going all the way this year. So, yeah, the Jets, they just piss me off. I'm in a great mood. Let's not talk about the Jets, Havoc. Jeez. Appreciate the support, my man. All right, altimeter down there is 3001, 3001. The barrel ref for the ILS 22 left is, my mouse is like super aggressive today. I'm going to have to turn down the sensitivity. The approach, ILS 22 left. How do I pull the start? Oh yeah, pin charts. There we go. Boston approach, 22 left. Fly pad. Here's another thing too. The fly pad on this thing, I love it, man. I love it. I like the snappiness in this better than the Fenix one too. The Fenix has a great iPad or EFB. Man, I love this one too though. This one is really nice. I love how snappy it is. 216 in the baro ref. I'm going to set that right there. 32.5, thrust idle. We're doing manual brakes, reverse as required. Everything is looking good. We're on the descent down. Where's my wallet? So, I am comparing. Let me pull out my phone. I got to pull out the pictures. I was trying to figure out how I can take pictures of the real FCU to see how big it is in comparison. And I know it's an 80% replica, so I know this FCU is smaller than the real FCU, but I was trying to figure out the knobs, because the knobs feel really good on this box, even though I think they're smaller. So let me check. So I used my Costco card. Let me bring out my Costco card here. This is for science. So it was about, and that was, what altitude? That was the altitude knob. I mean, it was about the size of the O in Costco. That is pretty darn good. You can see there's the real one. Can I show you that? How do you guys see that? So that's the real one on my phone. So I took a picture. I was trying to figure out the size of these knobs. That's the real one. And then here's miniFCU with the O right under that knob. I mean, can't just use a ruler. I didn't have a ruler with me in the airplane. So I'll tell you what, man, it's pretty darn close. It's close enough that where I really don't even tell the difference when I'm manipulating the knobs. Where I can tell the most of the size difference, it's in the push buttons, like being below. Those just seem a little bit smaller in their position, but that's it. It's a great piece of hardware, minus the mounting solution. Nice product placement. Costco is now an official measurement. It is. Costco card is an official measurement. You went quite all in as the cheerleader for the miniFCU, so good to hear it works for you and you like it, Chaos. Well, Chaos, the thing is, like I said, I hated scrolling the mouse wheel for flying the airplane. So when I saw the opportunity with miniFCU coming to the market, it was definitely a leap of faith, because had this been a piece of junk, I would have felt really bad, because most of the time, actually every other time, in order for me to like really promote something, I need to have it first. Obviously, I had the FSprojects stick for at least a month. I had gone through 3 or 4 other sticks before settling on one. Throttles, same thing, looking at options. So I did a lot of testing with the hardware before you guys even heard about it from me. So with the miniFCU, all I could go off of is what I saw and what they were telling me. But I knew it could change the game if it lived up to the hype, and 100% it does. McAllen, 11 months of support. Thank you so much, as I can't wait for those podcasts. McAllen, hey, this week we're going to try real hard. This week, McAllen, we're going to try real hard to get us a podcast down, all right? No guarantees, but we're going to try real hard. Pac-Man056, thank you for the $10 bank angle, or sorry, the $10 super chat. So it's been a while since I caught a stream. Hope all been well, B1. As a Wisconsinite, I love the winter ops, and get well, Aaron Rodgers. Man, Aaron Rodgers doing something crazy, huh, this year, like already back pretty much. Appreciate you, Pac-Man. Thank you for the support, and hopefully he comes back next year full health and we go to playoffs. I don't think it's happening this year. Flaunting Costco membership ads like that, you've lost touch with the common man. It was literally the only, I was like, what? I don't have anything to measure. I tried to draw a circle on a piece of paper. That wasn't really working. Need to get in touch with Captain Tango and fly his 320 home cockpit. I know, that would be pretty nice. Instead of measurements in stone, it's not Costco cards. Fire service has chains as a measurement. Drives me nuts. You hate that probably as much as I hate the radar cursor on the Warthog for DCS. Something so critical but feels so cheap wrong. Keyboard scrolling the FCU. Yes. Yes, Wingnut. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. There are small things in airplanes that once you've felt them in the real thing, it just feels so wrong in the sim. And like you're talking about the radar cursor or scrolling the FCU with the mouse, and yeah, just not good. If you have a moment, V1, can you please highlight the difference between flare and touchdown between fly-by-wire and Fenix in sim? Between the fly-by-wire and the Fenix in the sim, I think they're very similar. One thing I will tell you is that the fly-by-wire, it will float a little bit more on you than the Fenix. Now, I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but I'm going to tell you from experience. 320s with sharklets versus 320s without sharklets will round out and flare differently. So the sharklet adding about 3 feet of wing on each side, or is it 3 feet of wing total? I can't remember. 117.5 and 111.10. So 111.10, 117. So that's what, 5 feet aside? So 5 feet total. So what? Yeah, about 2.5 feet of wingtip on each side gets added. So what does that do? That increases your overall wingspan. And if you think about ground effect is described as approximately half of the wingspan above the ground when you're in that round out and flare phase. So theoretically, if you look at the science, aircraft with sharklets should feel that ground effect a little bit sooner, and it should be a little bit more prominent. So whether the fly-by-wire is floating, a little bit more floaty because of that or not, it is a little bit more realistic compared to a CEO aircraft or like the Fenix that does not have the sharklets on there and it has the classic wingtip fence. Those airplanes, most, in my experience, the classic wing with the wingtip fence out there, it'll come down. You can float it if you're a little bit hot, but most of the time they will fly, and then they pretty much, if you continue to try to flare them past that VREF speed, they just kind of stop. They just kind of chunk it into the ground. And I think that has a little bit to do with that whole extra little bit of wing, a little bit of extra lift, somewhere in the bleed off speed. I don't know the science behind it. I can just tell you what it feels like. Anytime I like chunk a landing, I look up and like, do we have sharklets? Oh no, we don't have sharklets. That's why I should have flared a little bit better, or a little bit earlier, or maybe a little bit harder. I don't know. So I feel like that translates in the sim. Now, is that the intention of their flight models? I don't know, but I really don't have a gripe with the way either one lands. Now, one thing I will say though is in the fly-by-wire, if you try to just keep it off the ground, you can pretty much float it in ground effect down to like 100 knots, I think, the last time I tried it. Like you can really float it, which the real airplane won't do. But if you try not to do that, or you just try to land it normally, there's really nothing glaring about either one of the models that I'm like, that's terribly wrong. Did I get ACARs? No, I haven't got ACARs yet. Magic Barrel ref key though. 3001 is set. 3001, 1, 2, and 3 times. Seatbelt sign on. 510 displays prepare for arrival. We're down to 280 knots. Autumn is supposed to be between 12 and 11. I don't think we're going to hit that. We need some speed brakes. So we got a 36 knot tailwind here. It's kind of hurting us. Let's go ahead and try to catch up to Autumn below 10, below 12. Above 11, 270 knots. We're trying to catch up to that vertical profile. How long did it take to get a pilot license? Man, it can take anywhere from a couple months to a couple months. It just depends on how active you're trying to get it. I mean, I think you can get a PPL in probably, 3 months? If you flew a lot? 6 months? But it really depends on the student and how motivated they are to get their training done. Cockpit conventional in the TBM. Ooh. Here's the thing. I don't have the updated TBM version. I have to speak to Just Flight, or maybe I'll just have to go buy it. Because the one that they gave me one for the demo that we were flying and working on before it was released, right? So I still have all those variants. I don't think I have the latest one that was just updated. But you know what aircraft I'm kind of itching to fly? Starts with all. Or no, it doesn't. It ends with all and starts with trans. Because it's had some updates recently. Is it worth shelving the Fenix for miniFCU? I wouldn't shelve the Fenix, Tim K. You can still fly the Fenix with the miniFCU. It's just you won't have the digits in your display here. So if you're just looking at your cockpit, you still don't have to use the mouse wheel. You just use these. You just look up here with your eyes. So we'll do that on the next flight. We'll do the Fenix with the miniFCU, and you'll see how it kind of lacks a little bit without having it in here. But you're still going to be able to manipulate the airplane and fly the airplane with the FCU. You just don't have the readout on your hardware. Mr. Martinez said, some people's negativity towards Kickstarter scared me enough to stay away. Some claim you don't ever see a product and get ripped off. Mr. Martini, that is true. And believe it or not, I texted XP72. So after the whole Kickstarter thing popped off, I texted XP72 and I was like, dude, what if we just, like, were victims to the ultimate trolling attempt from China? Because miniFCU it's a company based in China, right? China has a history of not necessarily the best business practices. I think we can agree upon that. So I was thinking, I was like, man, XP, what if we just promoted and fell victim to like one of the largest troll incidences in flight simulator history? So that thought process went through my mind as well, Mr. Martini. You weren't alone in that, but I'm here to tell you that it's worth it, and I really enjoy the product. Next stream to Minneapolis. We do have to try to get back to Mini. I'd like to do a LaGuardia stream next. I've been doing some LaGuardia flying. I got mine in about 6. I think I was, but I'm in the Northeast, so weather played a big part. 6 months. All right, yeah, weather plays a big part in your training as well. When do I have to call Boston Approach? They're going to be on 33-0. Let's put 330 in here so we are ready. See, I hate the scrolling on this. I need mini radio next, please. 133.0 is set. We're getting ready to go through 10,000 feet. Let's get all these lights on. Flight attendants be seated for landing. You can hear the wind noise there of those landing lights extending. Love that. See, I don't think the Indy builds has that. All right, well, 250 knots. Let's go ahead and select speed, 250. And we're going to activate and confirm down here in the approach phase. We're activated and confirmed. We are going all the way down to 220 at Islay. 220 at Islay. So we'll keep an eye on that. But here we go. Do your training in California, less poor weather days to slow your training down. Yep, California, Arizona, Florida, all big, very popular training areas, states. There is the Logitech radio panel option. 49 Whiskey, there is. I might have to just bite the bullet one day and do it. Laura Breezy in chat. I'm glad everyone still remembers you. It's been a while, I know. I was just telling them how it's been a busy couple of days, about 12 days of a lot of stuff going on. So we are back. Laura Breezy's back. They do remember me. I thought the Neo landing lights aren't extended like the CEO. Dennis, they are. There is a new version coming out from Airbus, though, where all of the lights are internal in the fairing. I haven't seen any of those yet personally, but they are. That is an option. That is going to be an option where you're not going to have any extend. It's just going to be an on-off switch up here. So, which I'm going to miss. I like the extendable landing lights. I believe 320 Simplant was quite excited about the product as well. Then he gets switched to a 7.8 by his carrier. Well, I mean, there's many more things you can be upset about than being switched to a 787, right? I think that's pretty sweet. I'll have to see how his his 787 review is, because I do like the 7.8 that we have in the sim. I'm not gonna lie. I catch myself saying, "Oh, I don't like default airplanes," but then I fly the 747. That's default, and I think it feels pretty dang good. The 7.8. I think the 7.8 feels less good than the 7.4, but I don't really know if that's accurate or not, so I have to check out what he has to say about it. Uh-oh. AJ Funari, Santa Claus #2, gifting 10 more memberships, and he got... Oh, I see what's going on here. This is a good business model. Laura Breezy got gifted a membership. Hey, make sure you say thank you to AJ. I know y'all try to get her a membership so she can gain access to all our secret channels. It looks like it happened again. So if y'all picked up a membership from AJ Funari, make sure you say thank you. Very kind of you, sir. Appreciate the support here on the channel. And yes, now we have to be careful what we say in the members-only Discord, because Laura Breezy is now Team Green. Look, she's building up some rank, too. What are they, your first officer now? Wow. Look at that. Wingnut says modern tech is killing everything cool in aviation. No more extending landing lights, triple-sided flaps, and bucket reversers. You're absolutely right, man. It's like everybody's got to have... Why did Boston hop offline? Oh, everybody shut off in Boston. It's like everybody's got to... Like, all the fun stuff goes away. You're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. It's going to be single pilot here pretty soon. Just watch. Probably freight first. All right, we're 210 at 6,000. I guess we got to self-vector ourselves to the final approach fix. We're on 22.8. Let's go ahead and begin self-vectoring. We'll do it after low wind. They need a little work in default. They need a little work in add-ons, but default planes have come a long way. Zippy, they really have. The default Microsoft airplanes have come a long way from like default FSX. Right at green dot. I don't like floating around at green dots. So let's go ahead and extend flaps 1. VFE next -10 flaps 1. Here we go. Now I have max vectoring all that I want exactly. We'll vector ourselves here. We don't need no ATC. JetBlue 357, fly heading 045. Descend and maintain 4,000. Thrust idle open descent 4,000 blue 045 on the heading. Here we go. Just like that. Absolutely love it. What's that final approach fix altitude? 3,000 at Wayne. Oh, we should have our LS push buttons on too. And we also need flight recorder up and ready. Late happy Thanksgiving. Back to work now for me. Arlen, thank you for that. Appreciate you stopping by. Happy belated Thanksgiving to you as well. Thanks for the support as a member here on the channel for 10 months. Appreciate you. All right, flight recorder's coming up. JetBlue 357, turn right, fly heading 100, descend and maintain 3,000. 3,100 on the heading. Here we go. We might vector ourselves through the localizer. Final approach course is 215. Actually, we might be able to do this here. JetBlue 357, maintain 3, tell establish, turn right, heading 190. Actually, it'd be turn right, 190, maintain 3, tell establish, cleared ILS, 22 left approach. 190 on the heading, 3 tell establish, cleared ILS, 22 left approach, JetBlue 357. 190, let's see if that'll be enough there with the wind. Cross Wyland, or Wayne at 3,000, I think we'll be alright. Glide slope blue, lope blue, Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1 and 2. Let's go ahead and also start reducing speed to 180 knots. Oh, look at that vector. Who needs ATC? Daggone, that's almost perfect. Nope, this is the regular fly-by-wire. Have I seen Flight Deck to sim fly the Vulcan? I saw that he was flying the Vulcan yesterday. I didn't get to watch any of the stream, man. I just saw it on YouTube. There's VFE next -10 flaps 2. Let's get all the things out. All the cams are online, ready to go. 180 flaps 2. Lodestar, 700 feet till 3,000. We're looking good here. We are looking real good. Boston traffic, JetBlue 357. We just turned 15-mile final, runway 22 left, Boston. Boston looks too green for late November. It really does. I'm having a problem with my AccuSeasons, I think. Because, well, there's some brown. I need more brown. I'm going to mess with my AccuSeasons. For sure. It's definitely a little bit more brown right now. I did click the autopilot 2 button with the mouse, Tim. Ah, you're right. Old habits die hard. Old habits die hard, man. Alright, we're flaps 2, 180, crosswind 16 knots. Boston in the horizon, we're looking good. Yeah, there shouldn't be any leaves. Well, there's still a few leaves right now. There's still a few leaves up here. Not many, but there's still a few. I did upgrade, John, but then it didn't install properly because it said I need a new update of Net Framework or something like that. I gotta mess with it after stream. Put the mouse in the trash. I should. Saw a Qatar 330 in Nashville. Do they charter? BKG Blueface, that could have been a divert from Atlanta. Could have been a divert from Atlanta or somewhere. That's what that sounds like. Seasons will be one of the biggest things with 24. Yes, I am very much looking forward to having default seasons in this baked into the simulator. I filmed my reaction to Takeoff, and I intend to do the same with the landing. Expect me to upload this to YouTube later, unless you don't want. Go for it, Tiger Dude. Advance is pretty good. California coastal ranges look properly brown for this time of year. Yeah, John, I'm gonna jump on that again after this stream here. Make sure I get it up and running, because I did download the update, but it was having issues, so I'm gonna mess with it. All right, there's Glide Slope Star. Go around altitude is 3,000 white. All right, as we get ready. Now, I have bound my expedite push button to flight directors, so that's pretty cool. Runway's in sight, and there's no ATC on, so we'll just go ahead and clear ourselves to land. JetBlue 3B7, clear to land, 22 left. Recording is on. Here we go. Approaching 2,000 feet. Manage speed. Gear down. Speed brakes on. There's our VFE next. Minus 10. Flaps 3. VFE next, minus 10. Flaps full. Landing checklist. Cabin crew advised, auto thrust, speed. Auto brakes are... I'll tell you what, since I don't have any tactical flip-flops as well, let's go low brakes. Auto brakes low, ECAM memo, landing, all green, landing checklist is completed. Autopilot is coming off. We are Cat 3 single. Now, just for fun, let's go flight directors off, bird on. Oh, I love it. I love that. I need to get online when there's a center online and just like do traffic pattern work in an Airbus, so they can just vector me around. Why would the batteries be so low during a flight? What do you mean? Are batteries low? The overhead? 26.8. They look pretty normal to me.
1,000.
1,000 feet stable, clear to land. Crosswind from the right. Flying that crab down. Need a little bit more correction. Bang on the slope, looking good. So with the crosswind from the right, as we get down that round out and flare, we're going to need some left rudder, a little bit of right aileron. In a perfect world,
400.
We'll get the right main first.
400.
In a semi-perfect world,
400.
we'll get both mains at the exact same time.
400.
Actually, with this crosswind, we can probably do two mains. It's only 14 knots, so you'd probably realistically be able to get both mains down at the same time without being blown off center line. You really don't see that until you're above about 25 knots on that crosswind.
100 above.
You can see the water ripples coming right to left. I just love it. I might have to do a leg too.
Minimum.
Tonight. I'm just so jacked up. All right, let's correct to the right here a little bit. We'll take her down 3 reds. That's fine. We'll make that exit at high speed.
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard.
Left rudder.
5.
I can't see. I can't get my track back to the left. That's just Microsoft. I couldn't see it. The airplane didn't really blow to the left as it would in real life. But we got it. Reverse green. I don't have 2 reversers again. I always forget to reconfig. 70 knots. That was pretty nice though. Other than it being a little off center line due to Microsoft. Lack of longitudinal inputs. What was it? A 400? No. That wasn't a 400, was it? No way. Alright, we'll clear. We're going to cross straight across here without changing configuration. Boston traffic jet with 337. We're clear of runway 22 left. We're going to cross 22 right, taxi the ramp, Boston. I will stop the recording. We're not going to change configuration. Oh, the 400, yeah. I wonder why it's doing that now. I told y'all I had that happen to me in Mini. Who did that? I forget who did this airport. Love the textures though. Alright, let's go ahead and clean it up. We don't have an APU, so we'll take the inner. Flight Tampa, yeah, Flight Tampa. Juicy on the textures here. I feel like I'm one of the only flight sim streamers that likes to taxi from the window view. You guys probably hate it. You're like, oh, I want to see the cockpit view. I'm just like, I just want to see the window view. See the slats. Nice and warm here today, above freezing. Nice, man. It's cold in it's cold out here on the northeast. What is it, 2 degrees? Yeah, 2C out here right now. We're leaving the lights on for replay. Now, Jet 2 parks, well, that says JetBlue. Let's just go there. Let's just go right here. It's got JetBlue on the jetway, so it's good enough for me. I was going to go in over here. Bravo 27. Sure. I like this livery. A little bit of dirt. Get her nice and straight. That's 319 and 320 on the first line. Oh, 2 inches short. 2 inches short. There we go. That's where we need to be. Brakes are set. We got a jetway driver. Things are looking up. I did forget to exclude jetways again. Sorry, Christy. Let's go right into replay mode, though. Let's see how we did. If I move my view to click on something while in taxi for even 3 seconds, I'm like 7 feet off center line. Yeah, I know. It's a skill to taxi from wing view. Let's configure it up. Flap full. And we'll jump into the replay. Disconnect from ATC. And let's see how we did here. Let it load in for a second. Velociraptor, I try, man. We need to have a what we should start doing on the channel is a window view lineup challenge. See who can line up the best from window view only. Is the Fenix worth it, Dave Gamer? Heck yeah, it's worth it, man. Heck yeah, it's worth it. I think we got some brown trees down there. All right, let's just watch one together, and then we're gonna send it into sail mode, and that'll be it. We'll wrap it up here. I think that was a pretty nice little flight. Thank y'all for coming along with me today. Thank you for all the likes. We hit our like goal today, that's for sure. We had 100 likes before takeoff, so we had 300 likes total for the stream. You guys are fantastic. I appreciate you. We got to figure out what we're going to do next. We got to talk about this. So long haul from Sydney to LA. And this happened to XP72. And I didn't think about this. YouTube will only allow 12 hours of stream. So, do we break up the long haul and go Sydney, Honolulu? Or do we just say, screw it, we're going Sydney to LA and only the live viewers will be able to see the landing? Because the landing will not be able to be seen on replay if you go above 12 hours of stream time. So we really got to talk about that. Because I really don't know if I want to do a 15-hour long haul. But, yeah, I got to see what we're going to do. We do have to, we're going to wrap it up. I have not forgot about that. I've been itching to fly that 7.4, but with the miniFCU out now, I feel like I just got to do miniFCU flights because it is a lot of fun. Take the Fenix out again so we can see miniFCU with that product. I tell you what, Delta Tango, the night is young. I'm feeling highly motivated. We might do it. You guys want to do a little encore stream in say maybe 45 minutes? Where can we fly? Is there anywhere interesting to fly to today here in the U.S.? Any interesting weather? I'll have to take a look. We might do an encore stream here in the Fenix in about 45 minutes to an hour. Sydney, Honolulu, LA sounds fun. Thank you, Dougal. Appreciate you. Minneapolis. Could do Minneapolis today. We could do an RNAV 31 X-ray in LaGuardia. We could do a little LaGuardia action. Stay on the East Coast theme here. Oh, look at the rocks there on the Fly Tampa. Love it. LA to Denver. I like the east. I like the west-east flying because take advantage of that nice wind. I don't know why I'm not getting a number 2 reverser. There it is. That looked pretty good, Chad. That looked pretty good. Let's see how it did from the outside. We'll pause it. We'll go in the back. Let's see how it did here. Oh, parking brake off, please. Thank you. Spoilers armed. Alright, D-crab. Straighten her out. Ooh, right main, left main. You see what I mean, though? Couldn't get quite on center line. Let that nose come down on the center line at the very least. Kissed it. That was pretty good. That's pretty good. But the only thing is there that D-crab and Microsoft, like you can't. The wind would be blowing you right to left here. So let's watch this. So here we are. We're D-crabbing, and then right now the airplane would be moving more to the left. But we got the right main, left main. That'll just let that nose come down on center line. Not too shabby, though, for an old JetBlue 320 Neo. Yep, those are my rudder inputs, Beef Jesus. Those are mine. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here for now. Be on the lookout for an encore stream. I'm going to make sure I'm not missing anything. I'll talk to the wife, make sure everything's kosher. And we'll probably do an encore stream in the Fenix, see how it works with the FCU. Even though we won't be able to see digits, we'll at least be able to still fly the airplane with it. So, until then, y'all stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you here in about 45 minutes to an hour or so. See you!